Hello, welcome back to the channel. So a bit of a history talk just now. And I'm going to be talking about the Hartlepool monkey hanging. In case you don't know, once a month at the ACVC hub in Glasgow, I run history talks. So myself and other people get up and we do history talks on various subjects matter. You might have seen a couple of them that I've done on this channel before. I love history. Well, anyway, the one I did the other week was the Hartlepool monkey hanging. So I thought I would share a bit of the story with you. Obviously, normally when I'm at the hub, I've got PowerPoints and stuff. I'm not that technologically minded to be able to get the PowerPoints up. But anyway, the Hartlepool monkey hanging. So if you listen to me talk, if you know accents, my accent is from County Durham. Obviously, it's been altered a bit by me living elsewhere for years, but I'm originally from County Durham. So nearby was a place called Hartlepool, and that's on the coast, and it's an old fishing village. Town. And I first discovered the story when I was in Darlington, another nearby town, and the Hartlepool football fans got off the train and were going up to Feetham's football ground in Darlington, and all the Darlington fans behind them were going hoo hoo hoo, making monkey noises. That was never good in the 80s and 90s. Different connotations, a different time, but digging into it, I found out people from Hartlepool were called monkey hangers, and in fact the football team had owned it and their mascot was Hangers T Monkey. But where does the story come from? That's what I'm talking about now. So in 1803, during the Napoleonic Wars, the story goes a French ship, which was commerce laden, was wrecked in Hartlepool. Now when the local fishermen came down to investigate the wreck, they found no living human survivors, but they did find a monkey. And the monkey was the ship's captain that he kept dressed in a French naval outfit. Now I like to think of this as being a bit like the trial in the Holy Grail where they decide somebody's a witch because of wood burns, etc. Ducks. So I like to imagine the trial going something like this. So we have this Frenchman. How do we know he's a Frenchman? Well, what do we know about Frenchmen? Well, Frenchmen are, this is you'll have to excuse my generalizations here. Frenchmen are short, propaganda at the time. Frenchmen are short, Frenchmen are hairy, and Frenchmen speak with an ooh. So what do we have before us? We have a short man who's very hairy, and when he speaks, he goes ooh, 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 and he's dressed like a Frenchman. He must be a French spy, let's hang him. So the story goes that it was hung on a mast of a local boat. Poor monkey. I like to have an image of a monkey holding somebody's hand, paw, and seeing this thing, expecting a nice thing to climb on, but it's not. So that's the story. But what if there was a darker turn to the story? So what if the ship was wrecked and the locals came down to claim salvage? Now, my understanding, and I could be wrong on this, is if there's a survivor, you can't claim salvage. And especially if it was a military ship, it would go to Admiralty and stuff. Now, there were young boys on the ship known as powder monkeys that transported ammunition to the gun decks during the fighting because they could get in underneath things are shot. So what if there was only one survivor of the ship, and that was a powder monkey, and they hung the powder monkey so that they could have access to the wreckage. Now, I don't think they would have told anybody that that was the case, and that's what they've done, but stories get out, nothing stays secret generally. So stories get out, so it eventually becomes they hung a real monkey. So that is the story, and that's kind of a darker turn to the story. But did it actually happen? What evidence do we have? So we don't have any written records at the time about it. And again, if they're trying to cover it up, we wouldn't. Don't have any magistrates, logs or anything like that. The first written evidence we'll have of the Hartlepool monkey hangings comes in 1855. Now, local folk singer and historian John Wilkes found a transcription of a song written by a northeastern troubadour by the name of Ned Coven performing this song, and it pretty much follows the the first story's version of events. However, the thing with this is Ned Coven, when he went to places, would often write satirical songs and songs poking fun at the local inhabitants. Now, Hartlepool at the time was going through some changes. You had the sort of industrial factory starting to build, and you had the fishermen. So there was some friction between the two Hartlepools growing up. So maybe Ned Coven wrote this for the factory workers to poke some fun at the fishermen. Now, in 2006, a bone was washed up at Hartlepool Beach, and everybody thought it was a monkey's bone. And under analysis, it turns out to be a 6,000-year-old red deer bone, which I think is more remarkable than the Hartlepool monkey hanging story, because that would maybe date it back to Doggerland and the sinking of Doggerland. But anyway, so that was thought to be a monkey's bone, and it wasn't. Admiralty records show that 14 ships sunk near Hartlepool at the time during the period we're talking about. Unfortunately, none of them were French ships. They were all British ships, and none of them had a monkey as a mascot. So the evidence is kind of hinting at, unless there's a dark conspiracy, which I hinted at, and the story of a real monkey was to cover that, there is no real historical evidence we can find that the Hartlepoolians hung a monkey. But stories have a legacy. So the legacy of the Hartlepool monkey hanging. So as I said before, the football team had Angus T. Monkey as a mascot. Now in 2002, the government is experimenting with elected mayors in the UK returning. So one of the places they chose was Hartlepool. Now Hartlepool at the time was a safe Labour constituency. Peter Mandelson, that's his seat. Don't think Peter Mandelson has much in common with the people of Hartlepool, but that's another story. So it was expected that Labour would win that election handsomely, but Angus T. Monkey stood for election. Stuart Drummond, the guy who was the mascot, with policies like free bananas for all school children, etc., stood. Now he won the election. He didn't give all school children bananas, but anyway. He must have done all right for the town, because he actually won the term 3 times run until his retirement. Now, when he finally retired, or during his term of tenure, he was asked if the monkey hanging story was true. Who wouldn't ask that? So the mayor of Hartlepool said, "It must be true. How could you make up such a story?" So there you go, a legacy. And actually, the people of Hartlepool now, from being a term of abuse, they've kind of owned it, and it's a funny story. But as a final coda, so Stuart Drummond said, "How could it be true?" So we have 2 other stories in the UK about monkey hanging. The first being at Peterhead near Aberdeen, where the story goes the ship was wrecked, the only survivor was a monkey, and they hung the monkey, so no survivors could claim the wreckage. The second story is from Cornwall, Devon way, and this was an organ grinder and a monkey. So an organ grinder would often grind the organ, make the music, and the monkey would dance for money. And the story goes the monkey bit a girl, and the locals hung the monkey for that. So seems to be quite a tradition of folk stories in Britain of us hanging the monkeys. So, but as Stuart Drummond said, elected official, how could such an outlandish story not be true, even though there's no evidence of it? But anyway, I hope you found that entertaining. Certainly it's something that I find is a bit of fun. And anyway, I've waffled enough for now. I will catch you again. If you've got any weird stories from near where you live, give us a shout. I'm probably going to do a few more wee folky stories. I've got loads of them. I love folklore. But anyway, catch you later. Bye for now.